Hey, and welcome to Internet Roundup. That's Josh, and I'm Chuck, and I have indigestion.
I got the Jimmy legs.
Josh has the Jimmy legs, so that means it's time to round up the Internet. 2 things at a time. We're going to be doing this until...
a long time.
Yeah, at least another 10 years.
Yeah, because they keep adding stuff.
Adding things. It seems like every day there's something new on the Internet.
Almost every day. Like, seriously. That's no lie. Like, basically every day they add something new.
Goodness me. You know, you said something so convincingly in one of our other episodes that we had someone write on Facebook, is Josh serious about not knowing what Wikipedia is? And I went back and rewatched it, and you were so good.
Really?
You actually fooled someone into thinking you didn't know what Wikipedia was.
Did you buy it for a second?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But I think that same guy's going to write in and say, did you guys really think that nothing new goes on the Internet each day?
Right. Or he's going to write in and be like, did you guys really think I was serious about Josh being serious about Wikipedia?
All right, so this first thing I find remarkable. This is from our friends over at Vice's Motherboard blog. Vice is a great, you call it a site? It's much more than a site.
It's a way of life.
It's a thing, and I think they do great work. So the title of this is Defense Lawyers Claim FBI Peddled Child Porn and Dark Web Sting.
This is what they call messed up. Yeah.
So here's what happened, the short version of what happened. The FBI carried out a sting, a hacking campaign sting to target child pornographers.
On the site called Playpen.
Yeah, which is a real site.
Every bit of this story is just icky.
It is. It's a real site on the hidden web called Playpen, that one of the last supposedly child porn sites out there. And so what they did was, instead of shutting the site down, they took over the site and hosted it on their own servers in Virginia to basically track the computers that were signing on to it in a sting operation.
Right, and they did manage to net 1,300 real-life identities from the sting operation.
Which is good.
That ran from, I think, for a couple of weeks from February to March.
Yeah.
But, and there's one guy who got caught by this, whose lawyers are saying, our whole case should be thrown out because the FBI disseminated child pornography for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Here's a couple of statements. They use the Department of Justice's own words against them. Two statements from the DOJ in the past year. Once an image is on the Internet, it is irretrievable, and can continue to circulate forever. And another said, producing and distributing child pornography re-victimizes our children every time it is passed from one person to another. And that's exactly what they were doing.
Right.
And there were other ways. They said they could have had a hoax site that didn't have these images. They could have tricked people in other ways.
They could have sent out malware links to the people who were signing on to Playpen.
Yeah, but they just went the easy route and just hosted the child porn site.
Yeah, they just kept it going. And so these lawyers, their defense is pretty shaky too. But they're basically saying, like, yes, our client loves child pornography.
Yeah.
And he got caught red-handed. But the FBI hosted child pornography.
Like, and distributed images of child pornography.
Right. There's no loophole. There's no exception for any kind of federal, for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, no one is allowed to disseminate child pornography, and the FBI definitely did that for a couple of weeks. Whether or not that means this guy's case should be thrown out, I don't agree with. But I do think that there should be some serious repercussions for the FBI for doing that.
Yeah, this would be like a prostitution sting, if
like opening a brothel.
Well, if they actually still had sex with the Johns,
sure,
and then arrested them instead of just like luring them in and then arresting them when the money changes hands.
Yes,
like they actually did the crime.
Yes.
Of distributing child pornography.
Right.
Everyone involved is gross. Can I just say that?
Yeah. Say it again.
Because, they got 1,300 child pornography enthusiasts, which is awesome. But when you're doing it by distributing child porn, no.
Especially when there's other ways to do it. Like, if the FBI was saying there's no other way to do this, I mean, maybe it begins to be a counter argument, but these people are like, no, there's plenty of other things they could have done.
This seemed like
besides this.
the easy way.
It was.
And like they didn't think about,
right.
like, well, maybe we should, or maybe they did think about it and decided to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised no one at one point stood up and said, wait a minute, what we're doing is illegal.
Yeah. Or if they did, they got shouted down. Man, that's messed up.
Do we have any hand sanitizer in here?
Or shower? Okay, now we're on to Idaho State University, which has nothing to do with child pornography.
Nope.
Has a lot to do with Bigfoot, though.
Yep.
Sasquatch.
Yep.
Old Yeller.
Yep. The big brown one.
Right.
Jeff Meldrum, who was a Bigfoot enthusiast, he works in the science lab at Idaho State, and he is convinced Bigfoot, he's a Bigfooter.
Yes.
He's a footist.
He's also an anthropologist.
He is.
Which he's straddling lines there, which makes him Fordian after Charles Fort.
That's right.
Yeah. So he is a smart dude, and I should say we got this from a guy called, or a site called Stranger Dimensions.
If that was a guy's name, that'd be pretty great.
Yeah. It's a good site, though. You should check it out.
It is.
But he basically created a 3D printed skeleton of what he says Bigfoot may kind of look like.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? You're going to go look at other skeletons, real skeletons, notably in this case of Neanderthals and primates.
Yeah.
And he said, since I believe Bigfoot's is maybe some sort of a primate-human mix,
right?
What better way to fake a skeleton?
Yeah. So he got a hold of a Neanderthal skeleton and scanned it, 3D scanned it.
Yep.
Which is high tech.
Yeah.
And then did the same with the skeleton of a Paranthropus boise, which I'm wondering if that was found in Idaho, if that's an extinct type of primate found that was discovered in Idaho.
I don't know.
Boise?
Well, it was at the
Boise?
Idaho Museum of Natural History, so maybe so.
Right. So they scanned these skeletons and then kind of messed with them a little bit based on things like Bigfoot photographs, that famous Bigfoot footage from Redmond, wasn't it Redmond, California, I think?
Yeah, that one great photo.
Wonderful.
Of whatever.
Where he like turns his whole torso because he doesn't have a neck. So this thing didn't have a neck. And he came up with an 8.5-foot skeleton. That's pretty great. Yeah,
they said they had to widen the shoulders, increase the thickness of the torso, and the hips apparently were as wide as the shoulders. So
yeah.
Pretty neat looking, something to put on display.
Yeah, and what legitimizes Professor Meldrum is that he's not touring the country professing that this is an actual Bigfoot skeleton.
No.
So it makes him a scientist.
Boy, remember that
he's
sheriff?
saying this is plastic. Which sheriff?
The guy that had the Bigfoot in the freezer that was just a Bigfoot suit with
in North Georgia?
Chicken gizzards on it.
Yeah. Kind of disappointing.
Yeah. My whole feeling with Bigfoot, I might have said this on our episode about it, is they probably would have found him by now. They would have found him.
The world's gotten a lot smaller.
You know?
Yes. Far fewer hiding places.
So I'm on the no Bigfoot team.
Yeah, sadly, I guess I am too.
All right. You got anything else, my friend?
No. Everybody just witnessed the final nail in the coffin of our childhood imaginations. You know?
I still believe in the abominable snowman.
Oh, that's Bigfoot's cousin, Yeti.
Yeah, the Yeti. I believe in the Yeti.
Yeah. Okay, well then you're fine. I'm going to pull that nail right out.
We will see you same time next week, every Monday, at our home on the web, stuffyoushouldknow.com, right?
Right.
See you next week.